Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and tonight is indeed Fight Night, and we have ourselves another OP08.5 match here for you guys. We got myself on the left-hand side rocking out that Marco, as well as Endeavor rocking out that Doffy, which is apparently the only thing that people care about right now. Everyone is so excited for this Doffy leader to come back, so just wanted to showcase as many matchups as possible with against Doffy, so here you go, another Doffy match. We're going to attach one Don to our leader here to use its ability, grabbing the top card of our deck to go ahead and put a card from our hand to the top or the bottom, and then just passing the turn. And now with 3 active Don, we're going to swing 7k into life using skill, play out the Djembe to play out the Law from our hand to bounce back the Buggy as well as the Djembe so that we can play Djembe back to back to back. Guys, that card is so good. 4-cost Law is insane. I literally I don't even understand how good that card is. Like, it's incredible. So with 4 Dawn here, we're going to play out the Pudding to give Endeavor the hard punish, saying, hey, if you want to just gain so many cards back, you go from 8 cards back to 5, I'm going to go ahead and punish you hard for doing that. So, yeah, pretty nice. Pudding is a good card. Pudding is a very good card, which is really nice because I don't really play blue deck, so having that power is pretty fun. So we see a 5k swing going into life here, which does connect and then just passing the turn. So now Endeavor is sitting at 7 cards in hand as well as 5 active Dawn, of course, and we're going to see exactly what he can do. With 5 Dawn, it's a little bit awkward for Doffy, but we're going to see a 6k swing going into life. We're going to give him the 2k counter, playing out the Sengoku to search the top 5 here to grab out that Djembe. And guys, the Djembe never dies, it just always comes back. So 7k swing going into life, and we see out the another Law, bouncing back the Sengoku and choosing not to play to throw back the Pudding back to my hand because he doesn't want me to play it again on him, since he did just net himself another card, which is fantastic for himself. But fortunately for me, I have another Pudding in my hand. So we're going to attach 1 Dawn to our leader using skill, grabbing the top card, putting a card to the bottom here, and then making that 5,000 power Law into a 3,000, playing out the Pudding so he has less cards in his hand, so he's most likely able to kind of let it go, depending on how much counter he does have, of course. And I'm kind of banking he doesn't grab into another Djembe, because he's been searching Djembes and having Djembes. I just can't escape the Djembes, man. They literally, there's only 4 in the deck, but that's a lot of cards. That's a lot of cards for Doffy, especially with the fact that they're searching top 5 for the majority of the time. So, yeah, that Law is a 3,000 power Law. So I can swing 4 into 3 and then 6 into 3, or 5 into 3 and then 6 into 5. But swinging 4 into 3 here gives me a 2k counter. Swinging 6 into 3 does go down, and then playing out the Izo to kind of net myself a card here. And we're going to see exactly what I end up grabbing. We're going to grab the 5-cost Rush Ace. Of course, it's a brand new card. Really, really good card in this deck. I mean, it's just 5,000 power Rush is pretty good. That has counter as well, which is kind of something that no one really talks about. 5k swing going into 4 does go down. We see 2 Dawn onto later using skill here to play out the JK, can play out the Pudding. Very unfortunate him, thanks to that Pudding not knowing his top 5, but playing out the Djembe nonetheless to grab that top card is quite frustrating, but it is what it is. He just ended up grabbing another Djembe when I did Pudding him, of course. So it looks like we're going to attach a Dawn to our leader here using skill, grab the top card, which is a Jozu, and I have to give a huge shout out to players that play Marco. I think people that play Marco are, I mean, those guys are soldiers, man. Choosing what to put at the very top or the bottom, deciding 3 to 5 turns later in their plays is just super big brain. So shout out to you guys. Adding the 7-cost whitebeard back to the top of my deck because I do want that card still. And we're swinging 4 into 3 once again, and this is an easy 2k counter, but does he have it? Yes, he does. Another Mihawk for your troubles. 6,000 into 3 does go down, and now we see the Raging Tiger to bottom deck both cards. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering why I'm still running that card. I think that card's just really good. I know a lot of lists have cut it from their deck, but bottom decking 2 cards in a Doffy meta just sounds really, really solid. I know you don't get to establish a body, and Doffy's gonna play out another body regardless, but it just feels really good. I might cut it out later, but currently in my current list, I'm still rocking with it. So we see a big 9k swing going into life, playing out the Buggy, since that's really all we have here. And it was a blind it was a blind Doffy leader ability here just because of that Pudding. So Just adding it back to the very top, taking my second to last life, and then yet playing out another Jinbei. Another Jinbei for your troubles, playing out the Law, using Law ability here to bounce it back to his hand so that I have to bottom deck a card from my hand, which is kind of annoying. There's a ton of really good cards in my hand. It's very rare for me to have a bad card in my hand with this deck. Every card I really need really bad. Whether it's a 2k counter or something to bounce something back, or it's a lot of good cards. So we see a 2k going into 2k, and I do have that 7 cost Newgate, which is fantastic. Using its ability here to attach 1 Residon to our leader. Using leader ability here, we're gonna grab a card from the top of our deck, putting one to the bottom, most likely. Putting that card to the bottom, and I am gonna go ahead and use the Newgate ability to just pop the Jinbei, swing 6k into life, which was connect, dropping down the Doffy, looking at the top 5 to rearrange and putting it into a specific order. That 7 cost Newgate is fantastic. It's really weird that card came out with the starter deck, Whitebeard, which feels like that card was made for this deck. Like it's actually kind of nasty. So really happy that Marco was able to play out that character. So with 10 active Dawn Endeavor here has a couple different options. Most likely we're able to kind of flood the board this turn, because with Doffy you most likely can. It requires 3 Dawn to play out a body off the very top. Obviously you kind of need to know what your cards are at the very top as well. So we have cards like Perona to look at the top 5 to rearrange in some order. And I think I did see a Jinbei as well. Yeah, we did see a Jinbei at the very top there, but possibly not wanting to play it off the swing. Just really depends what he wants to do or what he wants to prioritize. So it looks like we might swing very heavy here. It looks like an 8k swing going into life. Maybe just kind of debating 9k swing going into life. Using skill here, we're going to play out the Moria to grab back the Jinbei from our trash to our hand. And then yes, we see the Jinbei coming down to play out the Mihawk, and then just passing the turn. I'm currently sitting at 1 life still. The Doffy was able to eat that block, which of course is really nice. I need to get rid of the Moria. I kind of need to control this board a bit more as well. So we're going to attach 1 Dawn to our leader using skill. It is the 4 cost Marco, which I did end up putting to the very top last turn. We're going to make that Gecko a 3k, swinging 4 into 3. He gives us a 2k counter, and he only has 2 cards in his hand now. So we're going to swing 6k going into this Gecko Moria. It has to go down, and yes, it does. Using Newgate ability to KO the Mihawk, playing out the Sanji to go ahead and play out the Marco, and then pass the turn. Of course, I need to set up some sort of defense. I have 4 cards in my hand. Fortunately for me, they all have counter, even the Jozu, but we are going to start things off with the Sengoku. And what does he grab off of the top 5? We saw another Jinbei. We saw quite a few cards here. Not sure exactly what he will want to do. And it looks like he's eyeing that Jinbei. We're always eyeing the Jinbeis. He could also grab a 2k counter if he has it, but no, we're gonna grab a Jinbei. And I want to say, I think we've played a Jinbei every single turn this game. I would love to let me know in the comment section below. Is that true? We're gonna play out the Jinbei to play out the Buggy. We're gonna look at the top 3 here, and do we find anything? Well, we're just rearranging our top 3, right? So 8k swing going into life, using skill here to play out the Boa. Now this blocker is rested, but we get to rearrange the top 3 as well as give a rested Dawn to either our leader or our character Jinbei, which we are going to go ahead and give to that Jinbei. So 8k swing going into life, and I'm debating on blocking here. I don't see why not, so I'm gonna go ahead and block. And now I have to figure out what Whitebeard Pirates card I want to give him to resurrect my Marco, right? So I'm debating to give him this 5 cost ace, which is a terrible idea because I have the Jozu as well as the blocker. Now, hindsight, looking at this match right now, I need to give him the Jozu, which I do end up giving him, but the idea that I was thinking about that was kind of crazy. So 7k swing going into life does connect here, drop me down to 0, and now Endeavor only has 3 life with 1 card in hand. It's my time to shine here. So 5k swing with the pudding does not connect, giving him the 1k counter. 5k swing with Marco does connect. 7k swing with Lee does connect here, bottom decking the Izo. 8k swing into life connects, and now these Sanji hits for game. Thank you guys so much for checking out this channel, this video. I really do appreciate it, and stay tuned because I have a ton of new OP08.5 content coming out soon. See ya.